So Fletcher is in his room, being an asshole, doing asshole things, hiding busts of Julius Caesar, and a prescription gets slid under his door. And he's like, what the fuck? And it's instructing him. It's written for another guest there. He's got some pills with it. He's got to poison someone with some medicine. Also, they will soon find out that the museum, because this place had a museum of a bunch of serial killer trope shit, like
It's horror movie artifacts, I think.
Psycho knife and
It's the knife from Psycho, the chainsaw from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. So there's a museum, and it gets busted into, and there was liquid nitrogen used on the lock, and Curtis had used liquid nitrogen on the first day to make some food. And yeah, oh my god. Also, there's a ship coming today for supplies. I'm sure that will definitely show up, and we'll be fine. We'll all just go home and sleep this off like a bad hangover.
I wonder. Now, Alfred Hitchcock is famous for being a bit of an asshole, so maybe they really did. But, like, do you think the knife in Psycho was a real knife? Like, do you think the chainsaw in Texas Chainsaw Massacre actually had a blade on it when he was swinging it around? Like, that seems like that would be very irresponsible. Like, the movie props probably wouldn't actually be effective murder weapons.
Well, here's what I did. I bought a knife, and I said it was from Psycho. Even if they were real, you would think that for a museum, they would be rendered safe.
Yeah, I don't know.
But these ones are the opposite. They're rendered deadly.
Yeah, like they sharpened it. If it was a knife from what, 1960 whatever, then they sharpened it. I wonder if anyone even knows where the fucking knife from Psycho is. That's such a weird thing to think about.
Well, it's in Rodrigo's thoracic cavity now. We found it, Ben.
Yeah.
It's in this guy's body. Although we did lose the body. That is a bit of a whoopsie.
Yeah, it's a whoopsie doodle. It's the left side you don't want to get stabbed in, right?
What size your heart?
Well, yeah, but I'm talking lower.
What do you mean?
Like, if I get stabbed under the ribs, where do I want to get stabbed?
You don't. You want to go on. You want to glance off your ribs. That's what they're there for. Yeah, that's not
an option, though. I got to go...
Lower your rib cage.
Am I going, like...
Try to lower your body and block the knife with your ribs.
No, I got to take the knife in the stomach. Where do I take it?
Not in the stomach. Avoid the stomach.
Are we talking like low into the left, low into the right?
Neither. You definitely don't want it dead center because it'll go through your aortic artery and you will die.
Huh.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people in movies survive things they probably wouldn't survive.
You can survive a lot of knife stabs, but you want to make sure they're in places that are survivable.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, get them to glance off the rib cage. That's what it's there for.
All right, I'll try.
That's all you can do. There's a quip from Burn Notice on how to survive a fight with a knife wielding opponent, Ben.
There's a guy. So somehow I get a bunch of these self-defense videos on like TikTok and YouTube Shorts. They just pop up, and
seems like right up your alley.
Yeah, I think maybe that's why the algorithm recommends it to me, but it's not. I don't care because I guess I've been in that space long enough to know like that's bullshit. Or it's just like, yeah, if somebody has a baseball bat and they swing it directly overhead, they're never going to do that. That's stupid. That's not how anybody swings a baseball bat. But anyway, I was
like
scrolling.
overhead, like down on
Yeah,
you, like
like
an
down
axe
onto
chop.
somebody. Yeah, like
No, they're gonna try and tee off as if they're trying
yeah,
to
and it's
to
like
hit a home run on your
and you want to
face.
make sure you step in. You want to make sure you step in. And I was like, and like 6 out of 10 times, you're just gonna get your elbow broken. But whatever, man. I mean, I guess if you're in that situation, you got to do something. Doing something's
Yeah,
better than
yeah. My
doing
plan
nothing.
is to
But like,
not get involved with
um,
people who are going to try to overhead swing downward a baseball into my cranium.
but no, there's this one guy who I was scrolling past, and I wish I could remember his name because he's hilarious. He sets it up exactly like one of those videos, and he's like, okay, and when he comes at you with this knife, you're going to want to step back, get wrist control, pull out your gun. And he has like a million of these. He has a million of those, and I love them. I love it. I totally forgot
So
what we were talking about. Thoracic cavities. I'm like,
yeah, yeah. The weapons from the movies. Someone broke into the museum, Ben, and they're all kind of suspicious of Mila because she knew about that liquid nitrogen, and she helped organize this event. Ben, all her name's on all the documents. It's possible it's her.
yeah, could be me, I guess.
So, but don't worry, there's a boat that's coming with supplies, and we're just gonna jump on that and go back home.
Yeah, I love that you guys think that boat's coming.
She and Ashton have a little romantic moment, and I think this may be when Ashton is like, "Yeah, I killed a kid."
I'm the child murderer. But it wasn't murder. It was an accident. I just wanted to scare this child. So here's the thing. I was at a camp for delinquent youth,
Yeah,
which sounds like a terrible idea.
yeah.
It
To
sounds like
group
a
them all together
yeah,
and
to
then
group them all
not
together, put them
supervise
into the
them.
middle of the woods, not supervise them.
It
Um,
sounds like something you would probably know better than to send your child to, but
yeah,
yeah.
no, it. I don't even know how you would. Who pays for this? Anyway, um, so I was at a camp
Cassandra.
for delinquent youths, of which I was one, and I was at this lake unsupervised with my good friend Jack, who I had revealed to me at the camp for delinquent youths that she could not swim. And I'm
Now,
going to tell you something.
luckily, we
If you're
did not
ever
just have sex in the woods because we are delinquent teens, but
if
yeah,
you're
go on.
ever in a prison type scenario, Mila, I'm going to tell you this just for your own benefit. Don't reveal your weaknesses. Don't introduce yourself. Be like, "Hi, my name's Jack, and I can't swim." Because, like, obviously, I'm going to put you in a boat and drift it out into the middle of the lake and then walk away. Obviously, I'm going to do that. And then there was a hole in the boat because it's also not a well maintained camp for delinquent youths. And Jack drowned.
So why did Cassandra,
I tried to
wealthy
save.
wealthy author and also married to a wealthy lawyer, why did they put Jack in like a poor person delinquent youth camp instead of one of those high end, high class delinquent youth
I don't think these camps
camps?
exist. Maybe they do, but like I would.
If you want
It
you
seems like
it's
a
if
really
you've
bad
got
idea.
money, you can take child abuse to the next level. So why again, I'm really upset with your camp, sir. I thought I was sending my child to the best delinquent youth camp, and here you are not supervising them, and also you have a fucking boat that isn't even lake worthy. I'm pulling your license to practice.
I'm sure they did, but so anyway, Mila, stop asking stupid questions. So I jump in after Jack, right? I can't swim either, it turns out. We both drown. And I want to emphasize this. I super drowned. Okay?
My heart stopped.
They resuscitated me, didn't resuscitate Jack in time. And I'm really traumatized by that. And I thought I'll do the best thing a person can do to give back to their community. I'll
Join the
become
police.
a law enforcement officer. And then I found out, Mela, you're not going to believe this. Not super what I was looking for. Not it wasn't fulfilling. I did not help out my community as much as I thought I was going to. It's just a lot of beaten up people
You look different.
who look different. So I uh career pivot. I write a story that gets my pain out. That it's a story about, this girl who was drowned in a lake, and she comes back and she wants to kill everybody who let her drown. And that's my trauma, Mila. But I don't know who could have known about that. Aside from everyone at that camp, the police, probably anyone who read a newspaper in the surrounding community.
Anyone who did any research into me at all, actually.
It's a real locked room mystery of a time here, Mila. There's only thousands of suspects. Mila's like, so do you always wear like really tight t-shirts that like really hug the bicep? Because that's
It's
working.
doing it for me. and then she texts, or she dictates into her Apple Watch, "Yo, Alistair, what's Ashton just admitted to his sin. It was an accident. He barely even remembers that day." And he gets a response, "Nuh-uh." Incorrect. He killed that person.
No, I'm pretty sure it was murder, Mila.
Yeah. I wouldn't have said child murder if I didn't mean child murder. It wasn't child manslaughter. It wasn't child accident. It was child murder.
It wasn't child negligent homicide. And Mila, you will be happy to know, I had another group on this island last week, former camp counselors. Went great. So, yeah, I'm cleaning house on this one, Mila. Don't worry.
So,
what would she have done if he hadn't become a mystery writer?
Yeah, how would she have invited him to this island?
Yeah.
All right, we've got 5 mystery writers and also this law enforcement officer for some reason. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really actually pretty great that also Fletcher became a mystery
Or maybe
author.
yeah. Maybe that was the straw that like broke the camel's back. Maybe it was all of these people like
You're all
coming
mystery
into
writers.
her space.
You.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
No. No.
I cannot abide this. No.
So, yeah,
Long story short, boat doesn't come.
Boat doesn't come. Go back to the island. Fletcher's like, "Wow, that's convenient. We were all just letting our guard down last night because you told us to." And also,
don't
where's our
understand.
breakfast?
I don't understand how somebody isn't just backhanding him repeatedly. Perhaps Olivia. I don't know why, but I get the feeling she really could.
Yeah, well, guess what? Now we don't even have breakfast because your staff haven't shown up. And Mila's freaking out, like, "Yeah, I saw on the cameras there's no food here and I can't see my staff. What the fuck is going on? We gotta search the house." And Fletcher, God, fucking damn, I have to get up and like look for the help. Finally, they bust into the study. It's empty, except for these 2 bodies on the ground. And
yeah, they really undersell the bodies. They're like, it's so empty. Like all these shelves are built into the wall, and they're covered in dust. It's like nobody's ever even used the study. It's not even furnished. The only thing here is the murdered corpses of my staff, and it looks like somebody just cut their throats, but like all over the hardwood floor. And yeah, so they're dead.
and Violet walks in there and she gets blood all over her shoes and she's tracking blood everywhere and it's just gross. It's like, what are
she's like,
you
oh, she's like, oh
doing?
no, it's so gross, it's on my shoes. And then she starts walking around. They're like, stop it, you're getting blood everywhere. She's like, oh my god, there's blood everywhere. She just walks more.
Stop moving. What are you doing? You're contaminating the crime scene, fucking idiot. So Mila's like, you said no one else would die. And they're like, okay, well, first of all, Curtis deserved it because he mishandled chicken and the guy died from salmonella. Like a coward, I might add. Like, salmonella, really? Come on, man. But, like, died from salmonella, and then Curtis lied about it, and his sous chef ended up going to jail for, like, 8 months or something. And during that time, his family was kicked out on the street, and they were homeless because Curtis is a liar. And then, and Taryn, she steals medicine. And she
Yeah, she's
stole a man's nitroglycerin, thinking that it was drugs to be sold. Uh, but if you've ever seen a nitroglycerin container, you could not make that. It does not look like a normal medicine container. It is a very tiny glass vial with little tiny baby pills on it, and it says nitroglycerin. It's really hard to confuse that with something else. But she did, because she is not a nurse, and a man got a heart attack, and his wife could not find the nitro, and he died. I don't recall where he was, but I think he was going to die anyway, because nitro isn't magic. They would still have to get him to a hospital.
yeah, they were on a cruise.
They were on he was going to die anyway.
Yeah, they were on a cruise.
They could have popped up to three nitro, but there's not a hospital on that cruise. That guy wasn't surviving that cruise.
There's a little bit of like rough around the corners research when it comes to the professional knowledge. I'm pretty sure at some point somebody says something about the prosecution in a civil
Yeah,
suit, which is
when it
something
should
that
have been
always
a
annoys me.
plaintiff.
Yeah. And like psychiatrists aren't always therapists. I don't know if that's true
No,
everywhere.
not even most of the time, I would think.
Yeah.
There's a huge emphasis on psychiatrists prescribing the medicine because that's where the money is, and then letting social workers or psychologists do the therapy.
There's also, and this is just for fun. So Alistair, we haven't talked about this, but it's a big factor in the plot trying to figure out who Alistair could be. Alistair has been around forever. Been writing books longer than most of these people have been alive. But there was a period of time somewhat recently where Alistair took several years off, and when he came back, the writing style had changed significantly.
And
And
that's when Alistair took off.
there's a rumor that somebody else, a child perhaps, took over for Alistair. And so it could be anybody, I guess. But
Yeah, I did
also,
think it was Violet at first because I was like, well, Violet's so young, it couldn't possibly be her, and therefore it has to be her.
well, I immediately assumed it was Cassandra because Cassandra was the only one old enough to be Alistair all along. And also,
But she's like, I know I'm gonna die.
okay, let me throw this one thing out there. Yeah, well, that's what made me think maybe it wasn't Cassandra, and I was very angry because you cheated.
That
Andy.
is cheating.
You
Yeah.
cheated. But there's this. I don't know if you've ever read Stephen King's On Writing.
Nope.
It's actually not a bad.
Oh, is that what the ink in your veins is?
Yeah, I think that's kind of a reference to. There's a couple books like that, but Stephen King is a horror writer, and he wrote a book about writing, and it's widely considered to be a pretty good book, which is interesting because I don't super love Stephen King's writing, but I do actually think On Writing is a pretty good book. So there's only like one of them. Like I think Cassandra's the only one who's been writing long enough to like have the gravitas to write the on ink in your veins on writing fear. But also the excerpts we get from the ink in your veins on writing fear aren't like great writing advice. So I didn't know if that was like supposed to be kind of lame,
Hmm.
and that was an indication that maybe a lesser writer wrote it.
If your characters are just hanging around inside of a house and you're like, "Yeah, they need to get out of there and do something. Make their lives miserable. Turn up the heat, light something on fire, shoot someone, blow up. Like, make sure they get out of there. Okay? Have them mix two chemicals in the drain. I had a friend who did that. He's not a friend anymore, but it was a stupid thing for him to do because he almost chlorine gassed himself like a genius.
I think there was a kid in my school who blew his hand off holding on to an
Water
M80
dynamite.
too
Oh,
long.
nice.
He lit it in his house, and then he was like trying to figure out what to do with it. And
Uh, um,
he was gonna throw it in the
throw it.
toilet. I think he threw it in the toilet, but it didn't go out or something. Then he picked it up, tried to throw it somewhere else, and was out of time.
Oh, terrible idea. Also, why
Yeah,
would you throw it in a toilet? That'll destroy your pipes.
I probably would have destroyed the pipes in that scenario. I think
Yeah,
I
I
would.
mean,
Yeah,
and I would have
obviously
just
he was
not lit.
panicked. Obviously he was panicked. But yeah, it's yeah, not good.
Yeah, no, terrible idea. But yeah, okay. So the ink in your veins. Oh yeah, and this is where Alistair responds to Mila. Mila's like, "You son of a bitch! You said no one else would die,"
Uh,
and
to be
and
very clear, I said I wouldn't kill anyone, not that no one else would die.
and also, I think I am going to kill other people. I am lying to you right now, but importantly, A, they deserved it, even though Taryn definitely did not kill that guy. And B, I didn't kill them. I was surprised as you were. They were dead.
Did I mention one of you is a serial killer?
I mentioned one of you murders people.
Two of you at least. Yeah.
Actually, if you count me, yeah, that's three.
I think what you
Whoops.
should take from this is you're not safe for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, but you can trust me. If you keep playing the game, everybody lives. Everyone's going to go home.
There's a chance. There's a chance everyone lives.
And so they're all going to have a powwow. This night's like the night of the haunted house or some shit. And we all got to stay in our rooms. If we leave, we die. So that's the game we got to play. But first, you know what, guys? I think we should drug Mila.
What?
I think, just hear me out. I'm putting this medicine into her drink.
How much medicine?
A lot. Like 4 times the amount that I would normally prescribe back when I still had a license to prescribe before it was yoinked away from me publishing patient data in a book that I cannot believe was really a bestseller. What publisher took that? Did I self-publish it? Because no
Bro,
way.
they were going to publish OJ's book. Don't even. Of
O-
course, somebody would publish
OJ
that.
OJ had name value.
Somebody would publish
If
that.
I did it, it was her fault. The OJ Simpson
You want
story.
to read the fucking Bill Clinton,
Yeah, I do.
James
We're
Patterson
gonna
book, which
fucking do it.
neither of them wrote, but both of them will get money for.
Are you telling me Bill Clinton didn't write this
I'm
thriller?
telling you, Bill Clinton didn't write it, and James Patterson hasn't written a book in a very long time.
Well, maybe the audiobook will have Bill Clinton do the audio.
You want to talk about pulmonary function? I saw him at the inauguration trying to tell Hillary to stop laughing. That was kind of funny, though.
So she's Mila's like, "You drugged me? How could you?" And they're like, "It's Fletcher. Wait, what do you mean? This is what he does." Like, I'm pretty sure he's drugging all of us. Also, hold on a minute. You drugged Rodrigo. Okay, all right. You know what? We don't know that. All right. So Ashton
I
is.
enjoyed that because you're raising a great point there, where they make a big deal about how it's a violation, and it is, particularly because Asher's involved. Like Asher tacitly gives his blessing to this, and he's supposed to be, a romantic interest. So you really don't want your romantic interest drugging you. I understand that, but
Unless you're into that and you give your consent.
but Violet's like, I can't believe you're gonna like violate a lady's bodily autonomy like this. I'm going to my room with this baguette. I will have no part in this. Violet, Violet eats a lot of bread throughout this. I don't know if that's a thing, but Violet literally, she's like, I will have no part of this. She takes a baguette and she adjourns to her chambers. And
Okay.
leaving Olivia, Asher, and Fletcher to poison Mila, and Mila's super betrayed by that.
Yeah, I guess I should say that Fletcher also like almost attacks her physically the night before. But yeah, she's super betrayed by it. And she's like, you need to complete your arcs to Ashton as she is going under. And he's like, our what? Our arcs.
It's all a story, I think. That's kind of coming out of nowhere.
I
But
okay, but like, was Rodrigo's arc to get murdered because he would give the game away? Like what?
look, the
Okay.
point. Okay, so there's some stuff. Look, whatever you do, save my life. Okay, I need you to remember that. Whatever you do, you got to save me. Okay, if you save me, you save yourself. Think about that. I'm going Betty by now. And then Ashton leaves, and she opens one eye and hastily runs to the bathroom and forces herself to vomit. Which it's weird that nobody thought of doing, and especially because like it's funny because Ashton realizes like 5 seconds after it's too late that like he could have put anything in that drink. You have no idea what it was or what amount it was,
They found
and
the prescription on his person.
they found the prescription on the floor next to him.
Yeah, he dropped it or whatever.
He didn't.
Or did he?
Or did he?
Oh, it was a duplicate prescription.
And when he gets back to his room, so the Aster, there's too many Ashton and Aster.
Oh, I wrote down here Cassandra is his former patient. Oh, whoops.
Okay, so this isn't an audiobook thing. This is a you problem. um so Aster, I think. Alistair.
I'm sorry. I'm like, who?
Alistair. I'm like, who the fuck are these people? Alistair and Ashton fuck me up every time. So Alistair tells Mila like, hey, you've been poisoned, you got to make yourself throw up. So she makes herself throw up, and Alistair's like, I won't save you again, but I did need to save you this time because I need you to do that stuff I told you to do tonight, because tonight's going to be like the haunting one. I'm going to flood everybody's rooms, I'm going to make spooky noises all night, and I'm going to make it seem like the house is on fire, and then the whole thing is going to be like a test to see. I'm going to tell them if they leave their rooms, I kill them, but then you're going to scream, and if they come to save you risking their own lives, then they pass the test. It's going to be a fun test. And so everybody goes back to their rooms, and the rooms are all messed up. Fletcher goes back to his, and it's just busts of Julius Caesar.
Yeah. So many busts.
There's a noose hanging from the chandelier or whatever, and there's only one other death in one of his books, and that is when somebody injects air between the toes to cause an embolism, which is untraceable. Is that
Although
is that
an air
untraceable?
embolism looks very distinct. I've seen an air embolism before. You crash pretty fucking quick, and I remember my boss at the time being like, "Yeah, that was an air embolism.
Is it
99% for sure."
okay? Is it always murder?
No. In fact,
So
it's usually not murder. It's
okay, well then
usually
you'd
in
probably
the
get away with
hospital.
you'd probably get away with it. Oh no, you're saying like it's a medical mistake?
Yeah, something like that. Like if you get air
I don't like the phrase
injected.
something like that.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
One of the most prolific serial killers in U.S. history was a nurse. Kept spiking bags with insulin.
Oh God. So that's the only other way somebody has died, and yeah, that's what happens to Fletcher. They get him between the toes. He takes some of that Ambien for himself because he's just like, "Hey, told us not to leave the room. I am dialed in.
What a genius.
Locked room mystery."
And there is no way to get inside of my room. I didn't
There's
check for secret passages like all those other mysteries
there's a
did.
million secret passages, and
There's a fuckload of
some of
secret
us have a map.
passages. Yeah, whoops.
So then also the morning comes and Mila puts on the Scream, and it's the Scream. She when she
I guess
recorded this Scream, she
I guess I
reached
should mention Olivia is like catatonic half the time, and the other half wants to swear bloody murder on
yeah.
Rodrigo's killer. Anyway,
Violet's eating a baguette.
she
Olivia's
runs.
catatonic.
Yeah, Violet is the one who runs in on Mila.
She's like,
She's
"Oh
like,
my
"Oh,
God, Mila, are you okay?"
of
And
course it was you."
that's when we're like, "Oh no, it was." But I think Olivia and Violet both go in, so you're not sure which of them is you. Um,
Yeah, and the thief is voiced by a woman in the audiobook, so I was already like, okay. I kind of
oh,
already.
that's kind of a giveaway, isn't it?
Yeah, but at this point, I was pretty sure it was a woman anyway.
Well, at this point, you're kind of down to the women, as we'll find out.
Yeah, and the serial killer has a voice changer on the audiobook.
What does it sound like? Is it like the Scream voice changer, or is it like?
It makes their voice sound a little lower like this.
Oh God, okay.
So, oh
It's
no, Fletcher is dead. Oh gosh, what a horror. Oh no,
get the
Ashton, someone we actually like is dead. Let's all like fuck Fletcher. Let's never mention him again. Ashton is dead. Oh my god, look at that. His blood looks really like the color of Violet's nail polish. That is freaky. His blood
yeah,
is already coagulating everywhere.
and it
Holy shit.
smells so much like blood and not like nail polish, which is one of the strongest smells.
It's so potent.
You would
It's
definitely
so
know if somebody
fucking
dumped
awful.
a bottle of nail polish on the floor.
So I figured someone was going to fake their death, and I was like, okay, I guess it's Ashton. Not realizing that someone else also faked their death at the beginning because they were thinking about how they were going to die, but in fact, they should have been thinking about how they were going to fake their death and then go into the underground lair where they're
Yeah, you
watching
can't
everything
have a
from.
locked room mystery and an underground lair.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my underground lair.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's why it's not a locked room mystery.
Yeah. Yeah, well, okay, tell that to fucking Aaron Craig, number 1 New York Times bestselling author of The 13th Child. Or the Brooks staff picks. I think, well, Brooke from Brooks staff picks.
Or the
These
publisher. Random House Productions. I actually don't know if that's the publisher. I'm just
No, I think the publisher is
Simon and Schuster.
Yeah, those guys. So
By Bantam?
I think that's the imprint.
Oh,
So
okay. It's also a weight class.
Okay. It is a short book. It's kind of lightweight. So we're down to 3. We got Mila.
The
Violet.
last girl. Final
Olivia.
girl.
Final girl.
Final girl.
But the thing about
I watched The Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
Back when Joss Whedon was still someone we could talk about without
I think that movie holds up.
Yeah, I think that movie is solid. I watched it, and then I watched it again the next night with a different group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Final girls. We're all going to have some chicken breast. Mountains of chicken breast.
No deal. Baguette or bust.
And after we eat all this chicken breast and such, Mila runs out of the room and locks the door, shouts...
Yeah, she just runs out of the room.
Shouts good luck, and...
and then Olivia's like, shit. It's going to be really hard for me to lunge at her from here. The serial killer point of view is also like, I've hid all those museum weapons everywhere. And Olivia is like, God, it's going to be really hard to lunge at her from here.
Really hard to get that baseball bat from The Walking Dead I taped under the chair.
So she's like, hey, we can work together. Nobody else has to die. And then but that's not what I was told by not Ashton, Alistair. Because there's only going to be one final girl. So one of us has to die. So I guess I'm fucked because I'm 21 years old and you're a serial killer.
So I'm sitting here with the knowledge that I am not the serial killer.
Yeah.
And the only other person it could be
consisting entirely of baguettes.
And the only other person it could be is you. So I have a gun. And it's not loaded. And I run. And
well, she doesn't know it's not loaded. Olivia doesn't. So
yeah. So there's a tussle.
There's a tussle, and then Mila comes and unlocks the door and is like, I'm coming to save you. And Violet's like, yeah, she's got a fucking baseball bat. Let's run. And then Olivia, so all serial killers, as you know, are Batman. They're like ninjas, right? So she goes and she gets the lights. And
I'm thinking of a list of serial killers in my head, and that is not what I would use to describe them.
They're geniuses who know how to just take down whole groups of people. They definitely don't just opportunistically grab and murder people. Anyway, so Violet's like, don't worry, I've got a gun. Now, there aren't any bullets. She doesn't know that. And that's when Mila's like, actually,
I know something you don't know.
I got your bullets.
I stole your bullets.
She's like, what? Why did you... No. Questions for later.
Do you smell gas?
Yeah. They're like, you can't shoot. Because then it'll spark and burn everything down. And Olivia's like, guys, we don't have to die. Mila's trying to reason with her, like, we don't have to kill each other. We can all walk out of here now. And Olivia's like,
hey, wait, I got this. And Olivia's like, counterpoint, I kind of want to blow up the whole house. And she does that thing from Powder Mage where she snorts a line and she makes the spark go right in front of the thing and she just blows Olivia away. and then blows them back into the cabinet.
Yeah, but Olivia did not actually say that, though. She was like, yeah, you're right. We can negotiate this, as she's pouring gasoline onto the ground. I love that. I love that Mila was like, I think we can work with her. She seems pretty on the ball as she's just pouring gasoline everywhere. I guess it's propane accessories.
Yeah. So
But Olivia was like, I only murdered one person. That's not technically a lie. But I also murdered a bunch of other people, so it is definitely a lie. That's
I mean, when you
just a
put the
straight-up lie.
qualifier only in front of it, and there are more things, that's a lie, man.
Yeah, that is definitely a lie. But so Olivia, thank God she was also an author, so we could bring her to justice. Though, how does she factor into all this besides just being married to Rodrigo?
I don't know. She's a serial killer.
How do they find out? I guess because all of her books write about.
Oh no, I know how they found out, because when it was Olivia that met Cassandra at the convention, you thought it was Fletcher, but it was Olivia. And she and Cassandra brainstormed a murder, and that wound up being Olivia's first murder. She tried it out exactly as they planned it.
Nice. Solid. And Cassandra was not like, maybe I need to send you to jail, but instead it was like, I'm going to concoct.
Well, look, Cassandra kills people too. She, I don't judge. I mean, I judge, jury, and execute, but I don't. I don't involve the cops. Cops are fuck them,
and as
especially
Olivia,
one.
Yeah, exactly. As Olivia's dying, she's trying to say something to them about how you have to help him.
No, I think she says, "Get him for me," because at this point she thinks that Alistair can only be the only other person left who she knows is the person she helped fake his own death, thus revealing that there is one person still alive. But that won't click for them until a little bit later.
Yeah.
But this is where one of my favorite parts of the book comes in. This is where we find out that Violet is Mila's you.
You ruined my life. And it's like, yeah. And I feel really bad about that.
Yeah, so Mila's like, you took away you stole my book. You bribed my lawyer to sabotage me.
Well, my lawyer did that. That was
he represented you. He was the authorized representative of you. Whatever he does reflects on you.
He didn't tell me that that's what he was doing.
He told you that's what he was doing. He fucking told you.
He said he'd take care of it, and he did.
So you stole my book. You stole my book. And I look, I was going to kill you.
You were going to kill me for stealing your book and also your life and identity and legally shutting you out of that? I can't believe that you would do that.
No, see, the thing is, if you actually wrote your own mystery novels, you'd realize that's a motive. And that is absolutely worth killing somebody over. In fact, people are murdered for far less every day. We killed Olivia for less. And and we ignored Fletcher's death.
Who? I've already forgotten.
Yeah, the thing was, okay, so here's
when we write a book about this retreat, let's just ignore Fletcher. Let's cut him out. Let's not dedicate shit to him.
Listen, new bestie. I know. Look, okay. Here's my thing. So here's the whole story of what happened between these two, right? Okay. So
why did you leave me?
Okay, I'll tell you why I left you. I thought
we were friends.
We were friends, and we talked a lot about like our mystery novels and murders and sexy stuff. And then I found out I was like 25 and you were underage. You were like 15. And so, yeah,
age is just a number.
Yeah. See, This is why, and by the way, this is why I said she's legal now at the
So
beginning. It wasn't because I
now
was being
we can be
creepy.
besties again.
It's because now they can be besties.
Yeah,
So
now we can be besties again.
it was a poor choice of words.
I know you were gonna kill me.
So,
but can we maybe be friends again? I was so hurt when you left me. So hurt that I needed to steal your work.
okay, we could be friends again. I get to punch you in the face once. And I want half of your money. That's the deal I'm offering. One free punch and half your money. And the punch has to happen now. Look, I told you when we were talking about this privately. It's like first precept: you can't kill anything. And I'm trying. I try to be a good person. I try to do the things that
Samuel L. Jackson, you're trying real hard to be the shepherd. Yep.
I'm trying real hard right now. What was his name?
Ringo.
I'm trying real hard right now, Ringo. But I need
somebody give that man not an Oscar ever.
Yeah,
it's not allowed.
Yeah, here's my thing. So like, I'm good enough. I'm a good enough person to not kill you, but I'm not a good enough person to let you walk out of here without getting punched in the face. I am going to knock a tooth out, maybe more. I can't say. But you're just gonna have to stand there if you want to be besties. You're just gonna have to stand there. You you deserve it.
Yeah, her whole thing was like her parents stopped talking to her or something, or her sister stopped.
Bro, I'd stop talking. Up. Yeah,
she broke up. Her and her boyfriend broke up because they had that argument again about whether or not her writing was going to go anywhere, and I had to steal your writing so that I could prove them all wrong. Prove the haters wrong.
Violet's whole thing with her parents being like, my parents were so mean to me and you were the only person I could talk to and blah, 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 blah. It's like, if you would screw over the only person you could talk to, what if I was hit by a bus, Violet?
Well, that's you left me. I screwed you over. Did you ever think that I stole your work so that you'd come out of the woodwork and then we can be besties?
Yeah, it's fucking psychopathic. One punch.
But instead, you attended your court hearings via Zoom without a camera on.
I get it. Your brain's broken and it needs turned off and turned back on again. I'm willing to help you with that.
One punch.
One punch. One punch in the face.
So instead of
I'll even tell you right where it's coming from. Rabbit punch right here, like right in that little dimple on your lip. That's where it's coming.
That looks painful as fuck.
Yeah. That's where it's coming.
You're gonna lose some teeth on that punch. Yep.
Straight jab right into your teeth. Then we can be besties.
Well,
also half your wealth.
Yeah, half the wealth is the important part.
And I want your shoes.
I want your shoes.
I don't really want them, but this is just kind of a
it's a power thing.
I want you to have to walk barefoot through the blood. I saw how that bothered you, and I think this would be fair.
So instead of doing that, they do a confessional thing where you gotta solve a puzzle box while the house is also on fire, because it is on fire right now, and you gotta do this thing to unlock this thing, and then
I control your lock and you control my lock, but the escape door is only in Mila's thing. There's no escape thing in Violet's thing, so Violet can let Mila go. Well, so then Mila.
But wait, how'd they know which one to go into so that Mila could get out, but Violet couldn't? And Violet's starting to die, And Mila's like, I came back for you. I'm not going to let you die. Bye.
Yeah, Mila is a better person than I am because Mila is like, yeah, look, I feel bad about punching you downstairs. I thought it would make me feel better. It didn't make me feel better. Now I feel kind of bad actually because you're 21. You're gonna die here, so I'll die. I'm kind of responsible for the deaths of like a bunch of people now anyway, and my name's on every document. I don't think we're getting out of this one anyway.
Yeah. I think I'm going
So
straight to jail after this. So
yeah, you might as well go. So you get in your thing, and she's like, "No, I don't want to, but I'm gonna bye."
Damn you, Mila!
To be
Damn you
fair,
as I run away down, away from this burning house.
Mila's pretty insistent, and Violet is very young. So then Violet gets out, and she's like, "Wait, Olivia said something about another person being alive," and then that's when we find out they faked Ashton's death. Ashton's still alive. He's being paralyzed or something, and the tide's coming in.
He's tied to like a wheelchair.
Yeah, she's gonna drown him. Cassandra's gonna drown him the way.
So he knows what it's like to be drowned.
But he already knows what it's like to be drowned because he was drowned.
He was drowned.
I did literally die for that crime. I'm sorry. They brought me back. You take that one up with God, Cassandra.
And she will, because Cassandra shows up and is like, Mio, I'm so disappointed you decided to die when everyone else could die instead. That's a bummer. So I guess we're going to argue about morality or whatever, and I'm not going to be persuaded at all, but you do remind me of my dead daughter, I guess. So I'm going to get into the confessional booth. I'm going to let you out so that you can go to a camp for delinquents because you're really fucking this whole weekend up.
Also, I didn't really have an exit strategy for this. I don't know how I legally get out of this one either.
Yeah, I my plan was to, I guess, I liked you, so I don't want to pin it all on you, but definitely I will pin it all on you. And it's going to be weird when I show up alive later on, and you're going to immediately recognize what's up.
Well, and also, like, somebody out there knows I'm Alistair. So they're going to know too. Look, the point is, when you get out of here, Mila, I just want you to tell everybody what an amazing locked room mystery this was. Anyway,
could have done it?
I'm unlocking your door now, so go in there. And
I also want you, when you write a book about this, to really, really, like, this whole time, I didn't think for a single moment about my devious evil plan, and you've got to preserve that in the text. You got to make me seem like I'm just a normal party guest like everyone else, because that's what I was thinking for the last 5 days.
I'm laser focused on the moment.
Yes.
Except for when I'm planning stuff. But I already did all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. You need to throw in a part where I think about how I'm going to be next and I'm going to die. Because that's all I thought about when I was faking my death and
I wasn't
going
sure,
to my underground
even though
lair.
I'd planned this whole weekend, I wasn't sure which way I was going to fake my death until the last minute.
Yeah, yes.
And that's actually what I was thinking about. And It's not like technically impossible. So if some pedantic douchebag podcaster out there has a problem with that, he can take it up with my middle finger, okay? See ya, Mila. I'm dying of smoke inhalation now.
I'm going to go see my daughter now because I assume that we're both going to hell.
She was a delinquent.
She was a delinquent.
She died the way she lived, not following the rules.
Maybe Fletcher should have told her that.
Oh, yeah.
Just get over your daughter. She died the way she lived.
Just make another one. Jesus Christ.
You already have another husband.
Yeah.
God. Anyway, Violet finds Alistair tied beneath the pier, for some reason tied to a wheelchair. I don't get the significance of the wheelchair, but she saves him, and then
She had to. I think because she's an old lady. I think she literally put him in a
oh,
wheelchair
that
so she
makes
can.
so much sense. I thought there was some sort of some sort of
I think it was just so she could
like
move him.
yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I thought it was like one of your characters was a wheelchair bound person who rolled into the lake or something, but
No,
no,
that's
I
why I
think it
mentioned
is
that
just
the missing golf cart was actually really important, because it turns out it was a geriatric woman killing all these grown men, and yeah.
so yeah, so in the end, Ashton and Violet and Mila meet at like a cafe or something.
They meet at his Airbnb.
There you go, even better. And Ashton's like, we figured out who Alistair was, and here we figured out the whole mystery. And Mila's like, oh, thank God they didn't figure out the fact that I was super duper an accomplice. But I definitely did help him. So are you guys gonna take this to the police? And like you guys have been saying this entire book, no, because number one, you're besties with Violet. Number two, I want to get with you. And number three, I think that would just implicate us all.
Yeah. Look, here's what's going to happen, Mila. You and I, we're going to date. And that's going to be awesome. You and Violet, you're going to write together. And also, Violet just told everyone that Violet is a pen name for both of you. And you actually wrote just as much of that story as she did. And don't punch her again. And there's an interview at the end. Everybody lived happily ever after. I didn't hate the ending. It's a little
No,
cutesy, but it was
I
okay.
preferred the ending over, and then everyone died.
Yeah.
Fucking died, and they're dead now. And then the judge threw a fucking bottle with the message into the ocean.
Yeah, I did prefer that too, like a Rube Goldberg machine where everybody's dead. Yeah. All right, we've been recording for quite some time. Let us rubric.
This might be a two-parter.
It might be. I'm okay with that.
Okay. All right. blog.words-about-books-review-rubric / or /
It's a /
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Content and ideas, Ben.
I don't know. I think I'm at a 4.
I was also at a 4.
I don't think it's like super duper original, but I don't think it's trying to be. I think it's trying to pay homage to the genre. And I think the ideas at play, like, though it is a little rough around the edges, there is a little bit of bullshit misdirection, more than a little bit in some places, but I didn't hate it. It is, like fucking Agatha Christie has the same bullshit misdirection, so I can't really fault her for this, and say Agatha Christie's one of the greatest writers that ever lived, so you get a free pass on that. But yeah, overall, I think the idea of having to solve how each of these people knows each other was actually really interesting and rewarding. Their relationships were, like, I don't know, juicy. I don't know how else to describe it. Like,
juicy.
I like the gossip. Like, I like the gossip factor. I like that, like, oh my God, that was her therapist. Her therapist told everybody about her, what she said. Like, oh my God. And like, oh shit, you killed her daughter. And like, yeah, I loved all the tea.
Organization, Ben. 4?
So, yeah, I think I'm at a 4. And I saw one of the biggest recurring criticisms of the book was that it takes too long to get good. And I can really only think of 2 places where I thought the book dragged a little bit, and it was just a little bit. And it was when they kept talking about the boats.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's very obvious. Like, you're not just... The book does not end with all of you guys sailing off on a boat or getting on the supply ship.
Yeah, but I think I read this book in 8 hours, like 2 4-hour reading sessions, and I was done. It's not.
Yeah,
It does not drag.
pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about use of language, though?
I'm at a 3. I think
I'm thinking 3 because I didn't see anything like outstanding, but nothing bad.
I did not like the ink in your veins portion at all. It was very
You didn't like the head full of ghost blogs?
I was just going to mention that. Yeah, I think that was maybe punching a little above the weight there. I think it's a challenge too, because like you're a first time novelist and you're trying to write something that like a master of the craft would write, and it just kind of wound up coming off like a blog.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was super intentional. Like if I found out like if Stephen King's on writing looked like that, I think
you're starting to wonder if maybe someone else wrote Stephen King's books.
Yeah. So yeah, I think a little bit of work to do there, but totally passable. Perfectly fine for a first novel for sure.
Yeah. Personal preference, Ben. I'm looking at a 4+ or a 5-, Ben.
I think I'll be generous. I'll go with a 5. I had a good time. I mean, we've read books that are challenging to read. I maybe this is getting a bonus because we're coming hot off Fire and Blood.
Fire and fucking Blood.
But God, this was so refreshing after Fire and Blood.
Yeah.
700 pages of just dumb made up historical text versus a fun thriller novel. Yeah, it hit me at the right time.
I'm only docking points because of that bullshit. Which again, it's not
mystery novels at this point.
Yeah, I know it's mystery novels, but I don't approve. So work harder next time now.
If you could do it without that, you'd really be onto something. But I do appreciate the difficulty there.
There's a way to do it, like with Roger Ackroyd. We're reading, he leaves out a key important part, and that's his book.
I think what saves this one for me is the tone is a lot more fun.
I would agree.
It doesn't take itself super duper seriously.
Yeah, because and then when There Were None was a bit of a bummer.
That takes itself deadly serious.
To the point where it had a different name.
Yeah. There's that. Had a couple
recommendation
of
strength.
I'm
looking at 4
I'm at
recommendations to genre and
to
general.
I'm at a 4, and I'll tell you the only thing that gives me pause is the low ratings that people have been giving it. I don't read a ton of mysteries, so I'm sure there's better stuff out there. I'm sure maybe if I read more mystery, I would go down to a 3, but I don't know. If you're looking for a book that came out this year, I think you could do worse. Yeah, I'd say if you read a bunch of mystery novels, this is a quick one.
Yeah. All right.
I think we're at the same totals here. We got what?
Essentially, yeah.
30, 50.
It levels out to a 4 across the board because there's a 3 for use of language. And
76, I think, for me. Yeah. Yeah, I give it a 4 out of 5. I would say check it out. I do think it's, not going to change your life, but it's fun.
Yeah.
We have fun sometimes. This podcast is fun.
Some might say mandatory fun.
Mandatory fun. You know who made us read this? Our valuable patrons, but some patrons are more valuable than others, literally, because they contribute more money to the podcast. And those people are Jamie, the Gravy Man of the If You Want the Gravy blog, Isekai Sensei Sama of the That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcaster podcast, John Bierce, actual author of The Mage Errant, The Wreck, and More Gods Than Stars. Keegan didn't give me a project. Hello, Keegan. And Spooky Shy, Shy with a Y, over on TikTok.
Okay.
That is everybody.
That is everybody.
I can remember you because I'm not super tired from trying to remember which Rhaenyra boinked which Aegon.
It was Rhaenys
I don't
and
care.
Aegon the Uncrowned. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then she was a bruncher. She brunched.
Oh,
Yeah. So that'll be a two-parter.
there you
Do
go.
you want to edit it or you want to edit Thrawn?
I'll let it throw on because I gotta
All
do.
right.
I'll finish up Lord of the Rings then, and
All right.
maybe I'll do your elf bonus episode too.